sadly, there's always a new craze or trend when it comes to kids and drinking and drugs. And one of the latest trends has to do with a favorite candy called Smarties addiction. Expert Robb Kelly joins us with more details. You are an expert too, because you are a recovering addict and alcoholic, is that right?
Yes, I am, for many years now. The craze started on YouTube. It started about 20 years ago, would you believe? But it's just come back into fashion over the last 6 or 7 months. Basically what the kids are doing is they're getting the candy Smarties, they're crushing it up to a fine powder, and they're putting it in a line and they're sniffing it, just like you would cocaine. It's crazy.
Is there cocaine? I mean,
no,
what's in it that gives them a high?
It's a sugar rush, that's all it is. Lasts a very, very short period of time. What they're doing is they're mimicking the adults who are taking cocaine. Now, when I was young, they had what we called candy cigarettes. And we used to pretend to smoke them, and we'd eat them after we smoked them. Our research was done back in England in 1985, 86. And it found out that 70% of them children who pretended to smoke actually went on to smoke. So what we're looking at here is a habit that can turn into an addiction.
Of course, and they'll say, well, if this happens with candy, let's see what happens with the real stuff.
Exactly, and that's what we're afraid of. We're afraid that this might happen.
Here's the thing that's so baffling. You are an addict, a recovering addict in alcohol. Did your parents do everything in the world to help try to prevent you from being insane?
Yes, they did. A lot of people ask me this question. I was born this way, period. So no matter, it doesn't matter if you come from a rich family, from a poor family, you know, if you're black, if you're white, it doesn't make much difference. If you have what I have, which is the addictive personality, there's a good chance if you're exposed to alcohol or drugs, you're going to abuse them, just like I abuse them.
So, did you ever want to stop, or let me ask you, was it worth it, just that moment to have it? Or have you, since you stopped, have you had moments that replaced it, just life?
Yeah,
just high on life.
I've had high on life, but I wanted to stop for 10 years, and I couldn't stop. I went from $1 million house with all the cars and my wife and 2 lovely children, ages 3 and 4 at the time. I lost all that, ended up on the streets, homeless, because of my drug and alcohol problem. It was horrendous. Only after I was actually broken on the streets, and I fell down crying. Only when I came to that point did I want to get clean.
And so when you fell down crying, what were you saying?
I wasn't crying because I'd lost.
Save me,
yes,
help me?
Help, I can't do this on my own. It was a spiritual awakening that I had.
Wasn't it?
It was, and from then on I got better. But I'd wanted to stop for years and years and years. I was crying because for the first time in my life, I realized that I couldn't stop drinking. How crazy is that? I couldn't stop. Even when I was on the streets, when I was homeless, I didn't think I had a problem with alcohol.
Is this what happened to Philip Seymour?
Well, you know,
Hoffman?
it's allegedly he fell off the wagon, went back into rehab last March. He spent 10 days there. He came out on the Friday, he went disappearing again, and they found him dead on Sunday with a needle in his arm.
I know.
So allegedly, again, they're saying it's a heroin overdose. Now, I know for a fact there's a bad patch of heroin out there. It's called the Ace of Spades. It's fentanyl and heroin mixed. And fentanyl is a very, very powerful pain reliever used for cancer patients. They're mixing that together, and it's so potent, it can kill you. And I'm afraid this is what's happened to Mr. Hoffman.
Is there a death wish under all of this? Is there a death wish? Maybe I just don't want to be here anymore?
Yeah, I think there is. I mean, most alcoholics and addicts suffer from depression. I do too.
Low self-esteem?
Low self-esteem, lack of respect, all the usual traits that go with the disease.
Okay, so is this what we look for with children? If
Yes.
they have a low self-image?
Low self-image, self-esteem, any change of behavior, isolation is a big one.
You mean where they just withdraw?
Yes, go to the bedroom and don't come out.
Stick their head in the computer all the time.
Exactly, that's a big sign. Isolation is a big sign.
And then what do parents, or what can they do What can they do?
Education, education, education is the key here. Many people out there think that an alcoholic is somebody who drinks too much alcohol. It's not the case. Alcohol has little to do with alcoholism. It's the traits, it's the way we're born, it's the way we think. Once we start isolating, we're on our own. It's in our worst company, by the way. We tend to use and drink more. It was years before anybody found out I was drinking alcohol to excess that I was.
So, are you okay?
I'm okay today, but it's a daily battle. I mean,
Yes.
people say, you know, you've been sober for a period of time. Like Mr. Hoffman, 23, 24 years he was sober, that it must be easy now. It's never easy.
No,
it never
nothing
is.
is.
It's a daily battle. Get up in the morning and the fight starts again.
Where do you live?
I live in Keller at the moment.
Keller.
Yes.
I mean, I wish we had so much more time with you. And what's so amazing is you sat over there so quietly, and I kept thinking, what's he here for? And then when you open up and you're doing such wonderful things by telling your story, you can get more details on dealing with addiction at Robb's website, which we'll have at thebroadcasttv.com. And when we come back, oh, talk about a change of pace. From children who are at risk for drugs to moms who have incredible, wonderful, safe things for their children to grow up on. Our mom will be back in just a minute.